Hello and welcome back to another video. Today going to be talking to you about some more Gran Turismo 7 information, taking a deeper look at the map menu main screen with all the logos, different areas you can go to, so kind of deconstructing this, analysing it a bit, seeing what we think some of these logos are. So we've all seen this screen in a couple of the trailers now in its various forms. I think it is updated slightly in the most recent one, but it kind of feels like an old school Gran Turismo game the way it's set out. But anyway, let's take a closer look at what some of these icons are. So obviously you've seen this map image many times, but we've, big thanks to James for putting this one together with all the images from the different different parts of the game put next to their logo in the main map. So all the screenshots we've seen from various different parts of the game next to their corresponding little icon on the main screen, which I think is really cool. It's just really cool to see everything together like that. Useful to see which bit sort of links with which part of the game. So hopefully you guys find that quite interesting as well. But yeah, that's kind of where all of those different things are, or at least where we think they are. So yeah, let's take a look at the first one, the purple icon in the top corner, the special events, or that's what we think the circus tent may be, borrowed from Gran Turismo 6. We're not entirely sure. Myself and James have been we've been discussing what we think some of the logos were, so we're not quite sure what that one is. But that would be cool if we had special events, a bit like we had the Goodwood Hill Climb in Gran Turismo 6, I believe. But yeah, we've not seen that track coming back, so that's not confirmed. But that kind of thing would be really cool to see return. Green is quite straightforward. It's the license tests. I showed you this screenshot in a previous video, but that's kind of cool. It's sort of a race circuit with license tests in it. So that's quite interesting to see that return. Hopefully they're slightly harder than they were in Sport, but not ridiculous like the old games. Anyway, next up is the yellow icon, home, little house icon there. And here's an image of the DB11 from the first trailer. This is kind of what the house looked like at that stage. It may have updated slightly, but that gives you an idea what the home is going to look like and where that is on the map. Next up we have the green Brand Central. The big building on the map there. This is what Brand Central looked like in GT Sport, so potentially if you click on that you'll get a similar screen to what we had in GT Sport, where you can select your manufacturer, sort of set out in different regions and countries. So you select a region, find the country, find the manufacturer, and go and buy a car if you can afford it. Some of them are quite expensive. But anyway, that is the Brand Central, where you're going to buy most of your cars. And yeah, next up is the blue GT Sport live stream with the old bus up there, image from GT Sport. So that's potentially, I think you're going to click on that to watch the Gran Turismo World Tour style events when they are being broadcast. I think you can watch them through the game like that, which is cool that that's integrated into there like that. Next up we have the lighter yellow, the GT Sport online mode, the Colosseum type thing. So this is here's an image from GT Sport of the sort of online championships and stuff you can take part in, but I'm guessing it's sort of the more casual online races as well will be in there. So that's kind of cool to see. Obviously the sort of competitive element from Sport that was kind of quite new in that game, it was kind of taken to a new level in Sport, is returning, as well as them going back to the old style of Gran Turismo. So it's nice to see both kind of styles of game, all put into one. So those of us that love the old Gran Turismos have got, the kind of game we love back, and the people who loved Sport are kind of getting a sequel at the same time. So yeah, I do quite like that. Next up is the orange icon, which is of course the scapes. So I think in the first video I said this looked very similar to Gran Turismo Sport. It does, but in a more recent video I did say there is basically double the number of scapes in here that we had in Sport, and if you, well, if you followed any of the information from Sport, it took a long time to gather that many scapes. So a lot of work has gone into gathering more locations. They have pretty much doubled it, I think. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to playing about with that. Scapes is pretty much the best thing for making thumbnails, if I'm honest. So yeah, I do love Gran Turismo scapes. Look forward to playing about with that with some more locations. Next up, we have light blue icon here, which is car model search. Again, I'm not quite sure on this one. The sort of steeple building there. But you could search for cars in Gran Turismo 6, so it's potentially a similar feature to that, but not entirely sure again on that one. Next up is the sort of aqua blue coloured icon, which is the car race events down at the airport there. So you go to the airport and then you open up this sort of image of the world, which we've seen with all the circuits placed on it. So that kind of makes sense. You go to the airport, you see this sort of interesting shot of the world, and gives you an idea of some of the tracks that are in the game. Again, there are some missing that probably should be in there, but that's a different topic altogether. So yeah, that's where you go to do probably the career kind of events, single player stuff. So that looks kind of cool. Next up, the red icon, the tuning shop called Understeer Engineering, because, well, of course it is. I don't know if that's a sort of dig at their own physics, because, yeah, a lot of people say Gran Turismo understeers a lot, I think. Particularly if you've played Forza, that's one of the main differences. Gran Turismo understeers a lot more, Forza oversteers a lot more. That's kind of what people seem to say anyway. So yeah, I think that's kind of a fun little name, Understeer Engineering. It's great anyway. Although hopefully it doesn't make your car just understeer, because that would be not very good. Anyway, that is the tuning shop obviously returning. A lot of people are very pleased about that. We've got visual parts in there as well as the sort of general upgrades that we've had previously, but that was the kind of feature that was missing from GT Sport. The upgrade system in there was not good. It was a bit weird. Anyway, next up we have the sort of tan-coloured logo, the Gran Turismo Cafe, or the Car Collector Cafe sort of thing. So this is where you have where they sort of encourage you to collect cars of the same type to build up your collection, which I think is rather cool. Keeps you playing the game because you want to complete some of those. So that's where some of those, that's what that one is, where you sort of collect your cars. Next up, the sort of blue colour is another place to buy cars. The used car dealership, of course, returning from classic Gran Turismo games, which is very cool to see back. I'm sure a lot of you are looking forward to going into there. That's probably where you start. Go and buy a car from there, although if you've pre-ordered cars, you get lots of free stuff anyway, which I touched on in the last video. But anyway, that is the used car dealer, which is a feature a lot of us want to see come back, so that's quite exciting. The yellow is the GT Auto, or the mod shop, so some of the visual mods seem to be in here. But oil change, car wash, rigidity, engine overhaul, all of these kind of things are in there, as well as wide bodies. That's where a lot of people spotted window stickers as well. So that's really cool to see GT Auto return. Quite a cool feature from before, and obviously having to maintain your car, work on those bits between races to keep it at its optimum. Is a really cool feature from old Gran Turismos, so that's really good to see that come back. This purple logo is the Brighton Antiques. So when I said most of the cars are bought from the main car place. Anyway, this is where your vintage stuff's bought. Obviously, second-hand stuff is bought from the used car dealer. It'd be interesting to see if that's like old Gran Turismo, or if people can sell each other cars like the Forza auction house system. But anyway, yeah, this is the antique place where you can buy some of the rarer, more expensive cars, the kind of things that were in the several millions in Gran Turismo Sport. So this is where you will go if you want to waste a lot of money. Which is good, it's not mixed in with the others, so I'm not tempted to buy them unless I go and look here. But yeah, there's some really cool cars in here. So these are the kind of collectible sort of things that you'd want to play about with in Gran Turismo, I imagine. Anyway, next up is the light green Gran Turismo Online. So this is probably a more casual one. I know I said earlier it may be mixed in with the sort of main online section, but it looks like this is where the sort of lobbies are, where you set up your own room and have a sort of relaxed race session, and the other one's the sort of pre-organised, timed Gran Turismo things like the daily events, the World Tour, all that sort of thing. So interesting that that's kind of a separate thing, which kind of makes sense down at the harbour there. So those are all the different locations, all the different icons on the map, which is great to see and interesting to take a sort of look at what they may be. And I really love this image of all of them showing the part of the game that they take you to, the screen they take you to, and what you can do in that part of the game. So yeah, I really like how it's laid out, and yeah, it's good to see all these different places on the map that you can go to. I like the way Gran Turismo arrange stuff like that. But anyway, if we take a closer look at the airport events section again quickly, if you go on here, it does kind of, if you take a closer look at this image, we get an idea of some of the career mode events that are going to be in there. There's a Euro Hot Hatch Week and French Hot Hatch Challenge, for example, shown when selecting a track. So I think if you hover over a track, it tells you which events are available, which is quite a cool way of doing it. There's also under the Kyoto Driving Park, the Sunday Cup is returning. So the sort of first event that you do in career mode in Gran Turismo. But yeah, that is all of the icons, all of the different things on the menu screen for you guys to kind of, well, hopefully that helped give you an idea of what the things are, where they are, and hopefully the image of all of the screens that each icon takes you to is quite interesting. I really like that one. So yeah, again, big thanks to James for putting that image together for me and for kind of helping figure out what some of these are. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting for you guys, taking a look at some of the elements from the upcoming Gran Turismo 7. As always, do very much look forward to this game coming out. It's only in March, it's not miles and miles away. I pre-ordered it, so I'm even more excited now. But yeah, hopefully we hear more before the launch of the game. But so far, it's looking like it's going to be a really good one. But yeah, that is going to be all for today's video, taking a closer, in-depth look and analysing the menu screen a little bit. So yeah, hopefully you did enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next video very soon.